Today, we're going to the moon with a LEGO Creator NASA Apollo 11 lunar lander. As mentioned before, today we're checking out the LEGO Creator Apollo 11 lunar lander set from LEGO. So this has the little seal up in the corner that is the LEGO Creator Expert logo, and this is of course a LEGO Expert set, so I'm very interested to see if it's actually a more complicated build than a big creator set, which are usually pretty complicated, but you can usually get them done, and I really like to see if this is much harder. Now, you can see on the front of the box, the lunar lander is of course landed on the moon like it was designed for, and you can see Earth in the background. Flipping it around, you can see all of its features on the sides, as well as the lunar lander parked on the moon with a really cool little base and a custom printed tile saying Apollo 11 lunar lander. Now in the top corner you can see that it does say Apollo 50, and that is because this set was made for the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11. So let's get into the unboxing. So to get into the box, LEGO gives us this tape, and I'm really glad they gave us tape instead of the thumb tabs for this kit, because this thing was not cheap, and this is kind of a premium product, so I'm really glad that LEGO did not go with the thumb tabs and they actually gave us tape so that we can conserve the box. Now, pulling out our knife, we can get in, and actually before we open it, there's one thing I want to show you, and that is on the side. If we flip this over, you can see Neil Armstrong's famous saying, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." And I think that is a really cool thing that they've decided to put on this box, and it really adds to the unboxing experience, so I'm gonna actually go in on that side, and then you guys can possibly get a better look at that art. So, getting the tape cut, it's really easy to cut. You can open up the flaps, and inside we will find bag of parts number 1, a really little bag of parts number 2. Oh, there's a bigger bag of parts number 2. Then we have a smaller bag of parts number 1. Then we get a little bag 4. Another little bag 4. Not sure why they didn't just put that all into one bag, but okay. A big bag 3. Then we've got the big bag 4. And then, this is an interesting bag. It's not kind of the normal texture of the LEGO bags, but that looks like it has some of our larger pieces. And then going in, we have our instruction manual, which looks awesome, and we actually get some chrome and gold stickers. That looks awesome. Let's get into the build. The Eagle has landed. We are finally done with the build of this thing, and it looks so good. It's almost unbelievable. It's crazy that they've put this much detail into a LEGO kit, and everything just fits super well, and the gold details just look so great. It's just, LEGO has knocked this thing out of the park. Really good job. Now, the instructions are also super nice and a bit of a premium experience, and I think that's good because this is a creator expert set, so we should get a little above a normal creator set. So the instructions, first off, you can see are pretty thick, and then when we open them up, you can see the little expert symbol in the corner. But when we open them up, the first page is pretty normal, but then you move on and you can start to see that some of the history of the lunar lander, and you can just keep flipping through that, and it's super cool to go through this and read it. You guys can pause it, or if you buy your own, you can read the whole thing individually through the pages. It's really fun to read, and it just gives you a bunch of background and a lot of the history behind the moon mission and the lander. Now if we keep going, you can see that there is even more information, and then even more with some cool pictures. And then when we go on, it starts to turn into different languages. So there are all of the languages that you see on the box from LEGO. I think it's cool that they give us that just in case you speak a different language, but you still live in the US. And then from there, you can see that it's just the normal instructions. And then every once in a while, we'll see if I can get to one of those pages, we can find one of the information little areas right there. You can see in the bottom right, and that is just kind of a little spot where it tells you what you just built, and in that case it's telling you about the camera that Neil Armstrong used to show him stepping on the moon, and it's really cool that they give us that information, and again it's in all three of the languages in this instruction book. So that'll do it for the instructions. Now let's take a closer look at the lander itself. Starting off the review with the moon base itself, we'll take off the entire lander itself so we can take a look at the base. You can see that at the front it says Apollo 11 Lunar Lander, and you can kind of see how it has this almost LEGO architecture base to it, and I think that really adds to kind of the premiumness of this LEGO kit, and I just think it looks really cool, and I really like that it's got that nice black outline because it just makes it look very nice. Now you can see the surface of the moon itself is looking very nice with little craters every once in a while, some little cheese slopes representing the uneven surface, a little bit of some studs right there to show some more of the uneven surface of the moon, and a big crater right here which looks really cool. And we also have these holes on the corners, and those are where the feet of the lunar lander can kind of settle in, and those kind of keep it in its place really nice, although it doesn't attach to this stand in any way, so I would definitely recommend transporting those separately. Now you can see little Neil Armstrong right there taking his first steps on the moon, and I really like that LEGO's given us those little step details, and the figure can just kind of plug into those as you would expect. And this whole thing kind of works as a giant base plate that just looks really nice to display your set on. We also get a really nice custom sticker print for the American flag that they put on the moon, and that'll do it for the base. Now moving the lander onto its base, you can see that it just kind of settles into those little holes quite nicely, and you can kind of position the feet a little bit so that it fits in those, but otherwise it pretty much sets itself in if you kind of put it approximately at that point. Now it just fits really nicely, and the whole thing, just the base, the model, everything just looks fantastic. All of the gold details look really great. All of the little sticker details throughout the model also look very great. You can see the little United States logo right there with the little gold accents on the side, and everything on this model just looks fantastic. LEGO has really done a great job. And with that said, we can take a closer look at the descent module. To separate the ascent and descent stages, you just kind of grab the descent stage and the ascent stage and just kind of bring them apart, and you can see that they have a couple little clips in there along with a couple bars inside of there to be able to attach them. So those will be attached when you kind of transport it. So again, I definitely recommend transporting the base and the lander separately, because the ascent and descent stages are both attached, but it is not attached to the moon base itself, which is how it actually was. Now you can maybe see in there, when I tilt it forward, you can see the little oxidizer tanks in white and the fuel tanks in red, just like the actual descent stage. And I think it's really awesome that LEGO has put that much detail into this kit, that you can actually see the different kind of tanks used to fuel the rocket booster that you can actually see on the bottom, with some little details on the sides, just looking fantastic. LEGO again has really done a great job on this set. putting it back on its base. You can see the feet can kind of position themselves a little bit when you tip it upside down, but when you fix it, you can see that ladder, and underneath the ladder there is actually a little sticker there showing some data, and I'm not entirely sure what is shown on that little data plate, but that is actually on the real lander, and they do talk about it in the instructions if you want to check those out when you get one. Now, that does have these little things on the top. I'm pretty sure those are clamps to help keep on the Ascent Stage, and it's really cool that LEGO has done that, and especially because they can actually move and kind of move in and out, and that's really cool to me. And you also have these little clips where, again, that is where the Ascent Stage clips onto the Descent Stage. Now we also have all of these really awesome gold details, and the stickers in this set, all of them actually come on a chrome sticker sheet, which is super cool, and I really like that because it actually gives the gold stickers a little bit of a foil shine, and it just looks like the actual lander, and I think LEGO has done a really fantastic job on that. Now, all of the legs are the same except for the build with the ladder, and they all just have this main post with all of these really cool supports attaching with little ball joints, so you can move those around a little bit, but they mostly just kind of stay in their place. And if this is a display model, so if you do have it on display, those should not move on their own, and you should not have a problem. Now, on the sides, we actually get a little bit of details, and that is one to open this side, and inside you'll find the little array that they put on the moon, and the scientists back on Earth were able to shoot a laser light at this little panel, and it was able to reflect it, and then the scientists could calculate just how far away the moon was. And I think that's really cool that they've included this, and they didn't have to put it inside, but yet they did, and you can just kind of put that back up, and you can put it in there if you'd like, but I'll just leave it out. Now on the back you can see some more awesome gold details with a little American flag there, looking really nice. Again, that shiny gold chrome finish, just looking like the foil that was actually on the lander, looking really nice. Moving to the next little quadrant of the lander, now we can see that we have another little door that this little bulge right here can actually help you open, and when we open that you can see the little camera inside that actually filmed Neil Armstrong as he came down from the egress landing to the ladder and then onto the moon itself, and then he actually went over and put in the flag. But it's really cool that LEGO's given us that little detail that camera's in there, and I really like all of the little hidden details in this set. Now, let's go on to the Ascent Stage. Putting the Ascent Stage back on the Descent Stage, it's pretty easy. It kind of sets itself in there, then you push it down and it clicks into place. Now, once that's on there, you can actually pick up the entire thing with just the Ascent Stage, and it's just attached by those two little clips, but it is just strong enough to be able to take up the entire thing with it. And I wouldn't carry it by that point because I am not exactly confident in the strength to be able to carry this when it's shaking and you're walking around. So I would definitely carry it from the bottom or the descent stage, but it can still pick it up. And I think that's pretty cool that it's just a couple clips, but it can still do that. Now, moving on to the front, you can see kind of the face of the lunar lander. We'll fix that RCS booster. And you can see that it does have the iconic two windows with their really iconic little angles all around them, and it is actually just one Lego windshield piece, but it is kind of separated by various pieces placed in front of it, and that really just kind of adds to the detail of the entire set. You can see the little dishes and the, again, RCS boosters on the side, and if we pick it up by the front, you can kind of take it off and notice that the entire thing is actually built upside down. Now, the only reason it's able to go on right side up is because it does have these little clip pieces on the back that meet up with these yellow clips inside that allows us to get the perfect angle on the perfect part of the ship, or the lander rather. Now, in the back, on the interior, you can see that we do get a little control panel and the doors to be able to go outside onto the surface of the moon, and you can just access those from the outside by pushing them in, and then you can actually get the inside of the little lander from the outside. Now, moving that out of the way, you can see inside the lander, we do actually have space to put both of our astronauts. Now, of course, Neil Armstrong is on the ladder, and we do have a little Buzz Aldrin inside there, and he would be looking at the control panel that we just removed. But if we move him out of the way, then you can see how he is attached. There's just a couple studs, one set for each figure in there. And to allow a little more light, you can actually remove the rear as well, which does have a little control panel section there, and more of those little clips to go onto more clips on the back, along with more RCS boosters and little antennas. Putting that off to the side, you can get a much better look inside of there with the little control panels on each side. Those are identical on both sides of the lander, and the Ascent Stage looks pretty funny without any of the sides on it. It's just kind of this little weird looking contraption, but that is basically how it looks in real life, and I imagine that's how it would look without the sides. Now again, clipping the pieces back onto it, you can clip that on, and then clip this on there. If we can find the clips themselves, there we go. And then we can take off the Ascent Stage, and you can see that it does have the little airlock or the tunnel to be able to go from the Ascent Stage to the command module, and we also have the little booster down there to be able to get to the command module. Now we'll go over there and take a look at our figures. Looking at our figures, you can see Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin here. Sadly, we don't get a Michael Collins, but he was up in the command module, so it kind of makes sense for us to not get a third figure because he wasn't really on the moon. Well, he wasn't, he was orbiting it. But looking at our figures, I don't know who's who, and it doesn't really tell us who's who, but one of them is Neil Armstrong, one of them is Buzz Aldrin, and you can tell that they're different because one of them has a different color of eyebrows. But we do, other than that, get exact same figures, including their two helmets, which are just kind of our traditional LEGO space helmets. Not anything special for this set, sadly, but the suits are very special, with our exclusive Apollo 11 NASA torso print, and that just looks super awesome. You can actually read that it does say NASA there on the little NASA meatball, and on the back of the suit you'll just kind of see some wrinkling. It is like that on both figures, so you can get a good look at the front and back of the figures, just how they are now. So that'll basically do it. They don't come with any hairpiece, mainly because they are both supposed to be on the moon, and obviously you would not take your helmet off while you're on the moon. So with that said, we'll go on to the overview right now. Overall, this is a really, really awesome kit. I love all of the details, just everything about it, from all of the little RCS thrusters and antennas to the little gold foil stickers. Just everything about it is very, very nice. Now, if you're wondering about the dimensions of this set, it's about 8 inches wide on the base, and the base is basically a square, so it's also 8 inches long, and the lander itself is about 7.5 by 7.5 by 7.5, so it's basically a cube, which just makes it even cooler, and I really like this set just as a whole. So if you were there and watched the actual 1969 moon landing on TV, I am, number one, really jealous of you, and number two, I definitely recommend this kit for you, and I recommend this kit for anyone who really likes space in general, and it's just a very, very fun educational building experience, and it's really awesome. So be sure to check out the links in the description below to go get yourself one of these. So that said, be sure to like, subscribe, click that bell so you never miss a video. Check out this video, which is actually a bunch of videos, and that is our LEGO Space playlist, and this video, which is our most recently uploaded video. So I'll see you next time on LuclearFusion.